Hey everybody, welcome back to Rock Room. This week we're cutting more moss agates. So again, I'm still really busy with my job. So it's not Mother's Day yet, getting close. So one extra run, I have more to do. So then finally things are getting back down to normal. So let's see some of these moss agates I've been cutting. All right, now here's the first one I cut. This has got a pretty big chalcedony pocket running through there. So I didn't really know what to expect, and no, it's pretty good. Definitely some workable material in there. Some crazy looking patterns going across the top. The bottom, a little bit going on, very clear. Make a nice, beautiful, shiny cab or clear cab. And then the next cut, it got a lot more colorful. Let's see if we can get that focus there. Little bot hole up there on top. Yeah, definitely some. It's not focusing. Definitely a pretty looking piece, and big. It's a pretty good sized chunk. And no fractures. That's some saw marks there on the end. Pretty. And here's another one here. Got some good red and orange, and yeah, good red and orange. Oh, there we go. There's the first drop of the day. Won't be the last. Got some good, let me see if I can turn this a little bit. Got some good red, orange. Oop. And here's a real big one. A lot of chalcedony in there. I cut this side, seemed to have a little bit more action going on, and yeah, that's pretty nice. Nice big looking agate. Lots of different things going down in there. That's kind of cool right there. Lots of eyes and orbs. And if you can kind of pick that up, I know it's hard on this camera. Oh, it's max zoom there. But some really good fortification banding too. Again, really big chunk seam agate. Be able to get a lot of slices out of here. Pretty. Okay, here's the next one. You can tell this is just a regular agate. Nice pocket in there, right? Crazy. So I was real unsure where to cut this, so I cut this end off, and got that pretty blue up on top there. You can see just where that hole is starting to form there. I mean, it's not there because that's just clear chalcedony. There's not a hole there, but you give that illusion that it is. Huh. Now this one has the old cruddy bot hole in it. There's a big hole going down.
There you can see some nice bubbly-ishness going on in there. And then, well, on that side, would you look at that? Wow. Now that is body bot, right? And then a nice banding along the outside. So I cut. I want to wreck that, so I cut just past that. And wow, would you look at that, right? Love that orange-red contrast with the white or blue. Here's Mr. Dog, maybe. I was going to first say a rabbit, but actually it looks more like a dog, right? Is that a dog or is that a rabbit? No, it's a terrier or something, maybe. Dog, definitely dog. But yeah, pretty big chunk here. Like I say, got these ugly looking exposed bots there. You got that crazy looking gray, almost metallic bot there. And then this side is just all crazy bots. Nice. All right, here's the next chunk. Again, one of the kind of brown ones. It's got a little hint of orange in there. Got some nice moss up on top there, or I should say mixed in. Pretty good chunk. Be able to get a few slices out of here. Can't tell if that's a fracture running down there, right? Always fracture. And then of course here's another one that looked like just like a little agate nodule. Kind of didn't feel real light. That's because it was filled in, just about filled right in. Cool looking moss on the bottom. That hole is filled in with something. Almost a double bubble, right? Huh. Okay, now here's a big chunk, but it looked like this is more of a jasper than an agate. You know, it's got some cool looking flecks in there, a little bit of worming. But yeah, I'd say this is a jasper more than an agate. It does have some agate going on the outside of it. Cool looking agate. And I guess that kind of, let's see if I can zoom in on that. You know, it does have that look, if you can zoom in, almost kind of like Larimar has. So, does that continue on through? It looks like it does. Almost looks like poppy over there. So yeah, this would definitely need to be cut, and there's plenty to cut. Keep cutting on this and see where it leads. This should make some really cool looking stones. All right, now this thing looks pretty wild. And oh yeah. That is, oop, I almost dropped it. And wow, was that wild, right? Look at all the... Look at all that. Besides the crazy moss, which is just crazy, you got all this little crazy orbs over here. Pretty nice. Beautiful looking. Okay, here's the next one here. Wow. Yes, very, very nice. Another crazy looking one. Come on, focus. There's a fracture in there. But, yes. Beautiful stone. Lots of colors, lots of looks. And here's a big chunk. Kind of look, there might be some good stuff on the inside, but with the with this rough texture, I wouldn't think it'd be anything very big. And yeah, it does got some good color. Good pattern. It's pretty solid for what's there. Looks like a fracture running down the middle. But other than that, yeah, some trying to get some shade band in there again. Huh. And here's another one with a big, crazy bot void, where it used to be a void, a little bit going down inside there. So just skimmed off a little bit of the edge. Very translucent. Nice looking moss. You can see that bot crevice going around all the way around to this side. Not bad, interesting.
Hey guys, so we're all in the garage and we're still cutting moss agate, of course. So I got this big chunk right here from our good friends at Brian and Julie at AZ Rock Hounding Expeditions, and it's a pretty thick chunk. And you're kind of like looking at it and you're thinking like, okay, what would you do with something like this? Well, here, I'll show you. Now, for a big chunk like this, you know, obviously if we put it in the saw, you know, well, it's not going to clamp up, or when we do get this clamped up, there's going to be nothing left to cut. So, you know, what do? You turn it this way and cut a bunch of tiny little pieces? Yeah, no. What we're going to do is we're going to put it in this thing. They call this a slab grabber. And of course, this is a little device right here. It's got some pins on there. So we're going to lock this in the slab grabber. We're going to throw it in the slab saw and we're going to cut this up. And I'll show you what it looks like when I clamp this up and put it in the slab grabber and get ready to cut. Okay, so there she is, locked in the slab grabber. Say that 5 times real fast. So again, these little pins lock the stone or hold the stone in place, and then you just screw this nut down. Where are we at? This nut down. This tightens up the clamp. Let me back out. Tightens up the clamp this way, and then basically your stone is in there. Now with this, we'll set this in our clamp and we'll be able to cut our slabs off of it. So I will throw this in there and show you what it looks like when it's in there. Okay, now I clamped the clamp inside the clamp, clamping the clamp, and adjusted it, got it to the cut that I need to make, and now we'll be able to run this through. And then if you may have noticed, you see how it's not the tall ways in the clamp? Yeah, well, if I would have done it that way, the rock would have been up to here and it would have been above the blade, and that wouldn't have been any good. So I had to readjust it in the clamp. And you can spread these screws out wider or narrower as you need on top and bottom to fit the rock better. I left them narrow because it had this little point on the top there that seemed to just fit in perfectly right there. So we'll run it just like this. It should hold fine. I'll cut that slab and we'll take a look at it. Okay, and here's our nice stone all cut up. Cut this into three more slabs. And, I don't know if you can see the translucency, but yeah. Good looking piece. Beautiful chunk. You can see that little onyx vein running through there. Shows with a crappy light. So yes, what a nice piece. And of course, here's the real thick center. And again, this is the thickest piece. This is the one we make our hearts out of. And yeah, wow. Let's see if I can get in on that at all. If I'm getting too blurry. And got a little pink in there. So yes, this is yep, one of these crazy bugs. So yeah, so that's what you can do with that little slab holder. And you can cut that thicker slab down into usable pieces, and there we go. That's how it's done. Yeah, so those are the moss agates. So hope you enjoyed looking at them as much as I do. We will try something different next week when I get back off the road. I got some cool looking jaspers. I don't know if you can see them. Where are they at? They're somewhere on the floor. I've been cutting too, so finally got a bunch of those compiled together. So we'll take a look at those too. Some pretty crazy looking stuff. Of course, that jasper is always amazing. So thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Remember, always hit that like button. Thanks everybody. Have a good one. See you soon.